I'm speaking to Alison Metcalf, who is the head of North America, Australia and New Zealand for Tourism Ireland. And Alison, you must have one of the best jobs in the world because you are promoting a place that is possibly the greenest, the friendliest and the most beautiful little island on earth. I've been there, and those words are quite accurate. So how hard is your job, Alison, to get people to go and visit Ireland?
Well, thank you, Steve, for having me. Yes, I think I'm certainly very passionate about the job, and you've been, so you can attest for why I think an increasing number of Australians are travelling. Listen, I mean, we recognise, Australians particularly, and everybody has a choice on where they can travel on vacation or on holiday. It's very competitive out there. Yep. But I think, the reasons speak for themselves. We do a lot of research, and we know that Australians like to explore. They want to get off the beaten track. Yes. They're looking to engage with that great scenery, that rich heritage. And I think they feel very at home. They want to get under the skin of the destination. They want to enjoy the music, the food, and the crack, the Gaelic word, C-R-A-I-C, that fun, that welcome aspect.
That means to party well, doesn't it, really?
It does. When you look at it, the Australian market for us is one of our top 10 markets. It's in fact the most number 7 by revenue for Irish tourism. And actually, for Northern Ireland, actually, it's our number 3 most important market. So Australians, when they travel to Ireland, they're staying for about nearly 15 nights, which gives them a lot of time to get off the beaten track. They're touring around. Some people have heritage, but I think it's the combined ingredients of great history, heritage, scenery, good food and music, and that warmth of welcome. And, at the end of the day, it needs to be relatively easy to get there. We've got very good one-stop air access, obviously, through the Middle East. Or if you're coming from Perth, as you've already pointed out to me, you can fly directly to London and then hop on a flight to Dublin or Belfast.
Correct.
So it's very easy nowadays. And
can I tell you one reason why I think that Australians, probably everyone, wants to go to Ireland is because of the joy of life over there. The Irish people are just lovely people. They're friendly. They know how to have a good time. They're very, very welcoming. And just because they happen to live in one of the most beautiful places in the world, it's just mingling with the Irish people as well. They're just great people, and you're right about the heritage. I mean, my heritage, I've been to Waterford, which is where my ancestors came from. It's just such a great place, and from an Australian perspective, pretty easy to get around because it ain't so easy to get around Australia.
It certainly is. We drive on the same side of the road. We drive on the left side of the road, so that makes it easy. What Australians are looking for, like many tourists, but particularly I think Australians, they're looking to get under the skin of a destination. They're looking to engage in those unique and authentic experiences, whether it's taking a food tour. We've got great food experiences, food tours in Dublin, Belfast and Galway, or whether it's going out and enjoying some of our great greenways and blueways, walking and cycling trails. I mean, the Whistler Way, the Kerry Way, the Dingle Way, also the Wild Atlantic Way. I mean, that is incredibly popular as a regional brand in Ireland. And that extends the longest coastal touring route in the world, extending all the way from the very top, that northwesterly part of Donegal, the Inishowen Peninsula, all the way down to Kinsale in County Cork. Yeah. And there's just so many unique things to do along the way, whether it's visiting castles, doing a food tour, playing some of the world's best links golf courses, or just chilling in a pub with some great music. And I think that's what people like. And it's a great way also to engage with locals. And at the end of the day, people want to do that. They want to experience that warmth of welcome, and they just want to relax. As you know, you've been. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We like to have fun, and we like to welcome visitors, and we like to share what we have.
That's true. And also for Australians, the travel time when you're there is not vast. For instance, where I live in Western Australia, for 4 hours, if I go north, that's the next town. Whereas if I drive for 4 hours in Ireland, you're driving through most of the country, really, aren't you? It's so much to see there. And there's all those beautiful little towns everywhere, great coastal regions. It's just a brilliant, brilliant destination.
Oh, it certainly is. And then, of course, we want people to linger longer. We want people to sort of want to do more. We want people to sort of enjoy more. We want them to enjoy more experiences. Ultimately, we want them to not only have a great vacation, but we want people to take their time and explore every region of the island. So whether they're on the wide Atlantic Way or whether they're coming into the island's ancient east, which is on the east coast of Ireland, which is full of wonderful built heritage, ancient heritage, you'll find new Grange, or whether you head up, most people start their trip in Dublin, 2 hours north, you're on the train, or you can drive up here in Belfast, home to Titanic, and then take the Causeway coastal route all the way up to the iconic Giant's Causeway, the distillery, and around to the walled city of Derry, Londonderry. So you can get around quite easily and quickly, but I think what we seem to sort of let people know is that don't rush it, because essentially you're going to, some of the greatest experiences you have are the unplanned ones and the things that you stumble over. It's not all highways. There are highways, of course, but you want to get off the road less travelled and get off the beaten track. And that's the fun of travelling around Ireland. It's easy to do. You never know who you're going to meet, what you're going to stumble upon. And those are the things you remember when you come back, I think.
And one of the things from an Australian perspective, everything's green. We don't have that here. I mean, I have to be honest, you do get a bit of rain there in Ireland, but it just keeps everything looking so beautiful. I don't know what it's like from an Irish perspective to live in it. From an Australian perspective, going there to visit it, it's just wonderful to see so much greenery. You do things like driving the Ring of Kerry. I remember when we did that, we really didn't know what to expect, and it is just drop dead gorgeous. You've got to stop continuously along the way, because every time you turn a corner, wow, there's something better to see than you've just been through, and that was amazing.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's why you have to sort of take your time. And as you say, when you arrive in Dublin or Belfast, depending upon how you're coming in, you will see those 40 shades of green. It is surreal. Yes, it does rain. You can get all four seasons in one day. That's what makes it spectacular. You can get incredible rainbows as well, but it's a very temperate climate. So that wide Atlantic Way, you talked about the Ring of Kerry, you've got the Dingle Peninsula.
Yes.
Some further north, you've got the cliffs of Moore County Clare, the great cliffs of Dover. And then really, the roads then north of Galway up into Sligo and Mayo and around Donegal. The sea cliffs of Steve League are spectacular. And there's a lot of investment going into increasing the interpretation around a lot of the discovery points along the wide Atlantic Way and connecting it through better signage then through the walled city of Derry to the Causeway coastal route, which of course then takes you all the way along the top past the Giant's Causeway down through the Nine Glens of Antrim back into Belfast. So there's a huge amount of things that people do and see. And then we know that people sometimes just want to disconnect, and that's a bit, from their everyday life. And if they want to sort of enjoy some of those slow tourism experiences, taking it easy, that Midlands area of Ireland is a great way to do it. And some of our surrounded by water and get out on the Shannon River or get into the Fermanagh Lakelands. It's really a beautiful scenery waiting to be discovered.
A lot of people, of course, that are going to Ireland are also going to the UK. And one of the best ways to get there is to hire a car and do a trip across on a ferry, because there's so many ways of getting there. As you approach Ireland from the water, it's an extraordinary sight as it just sort of appears. And as you get closer, you see the green hills and the ports are all lovely. And, of course, I love the architecture in Ireland as well. It's just a fabulous place. You've got a mixture of very, very modern buildings, and then of course you've got some very, very ancient structures there, and basically because it's a compact country, everywhere you go there's something different to see and enjoy.
That's right. And as you say, whether you take the ferry from Scotland and come into sort of Belfast, or you take it from Holyhead in Wales and come into Dublin there, you get a different perspective. Obviously, Belfast is famous for its Victorian architecture, but then you have the modern-day iconic structures that house the Titanic Belfast galleries. In Dublin, you've got, obviously, it's renowned for Georgian architecture and it's UNESCO City of Literature. But in the Docklands area there, you'll see modern-day buildings. And I think it's interesting because both, cities there, Dublin and Belfast, they're actually both coastal cities. They're both ports. So you can easily get outside of the city. If you look in Belfast, you've got wonderful hiking trails up on the Cave Hill with these spectacular views looking down on the famous Holland and Wolf cranes where Titanic was famously built. And in Dublin, You've got wonderful coastal walking trails. You can go north to the Coast Head and to Malahide and South Dalkey. So a good mixture of the city, the urban vibe, the museums, the galleries, the Guinness Storehouse, all of those lead the key attractions, as well as people looking then to base themselves and also get out and enjoy nature and do some activity. I think that's what makes those two cities unique. And then, of course, on the west, we've got Galway, which is, again, the people interested in festival, the famous Galway. And I should mention festival because I think, again, Ireland probably almost has a festival for every month of the year, but it's a great way to engage in local culture, but also meet people. Starting on St. Patrick's Day in March, our weather's pretty good. Yes, in the spring, so tourism season starts. But then, all the way through to the autumn, you've got Halloween. And not everybody knows that Halloween originated in Ireland.
Well, that's what I was going to say. People say it's an American celebration. It's not. The Americans got it from Ireland. It actually originated. Of course, there's a lot of myths, etc., regarding Ireland, and I haven't seen a leprechaun, but I'm pretty sure they must exist. But you were mentioning the cities, and they're very, very walkable cities as well. I mean, it's so easy to stroll around them as well, isn't it? Really?
And I always think, I often suggest to people a great way, obviously, is to take a walking tour, but you can get different themed walking tours. So you can do a Georgian tour, you can do a pub tour, you can do a literary tour. You can do different things depending upon your interest, and I think that's a great way to connect more in a more meaningful way with the cities, generally led by not only obviously qualified guides and locals who are passionate about what they do. And I think that's what you see when you visit many destinations, but I think we're very proud of that in Ireland, that the people who are involved in delivering that welcome and delivering some of those unique experiences are really passionate about what they do. They love tourism, and tourism is such an important industry in Ireland. I mean, it supports over 300,000 jobs.
And the one thing about the Irish guides is they've got very descriptive language, and the Irish accent is so lovely to listen to as well.
It is. You mentioned how the scenery changes around at this sort of corner as you drive, and the architecture, but the accents change as well. So an accent in Belfast is very different to a Cork accent, a Kerry accent, and just it's part of the culture. So, I think people love that. I think the Irish love the Australians. I think there's a good affinity. We're both fairly informal nations, I think. We like to have a laugh, and it's not only when we talk about rugby. So there's lots of other conversations to be had.
Well, I've been talking to Alison Metcalf, who is Director of North America, Australia and New Zealand for Tourism Ireland, one of the easiest jobs in the world, Alison. Thank you very much for chatting to me. We've chatted before, and it's always a delight to chat to you. And I'm always happy to talk about Ireland because it is one of the world's premier destinations.
Thank you, Steve, and we really look forward to welcoming you back. As soon as you can get there, we'll be more than happy to see you back on the island.